Welcome. This is my first podcast. This is the Heartland Lilly podcast. My name is Leslie Morgan, and I am from Northwest Iowa. I've decided to do a podcast to just keep track of my knitting projects and my spinning projects and my various fabric related projects that I might be working on from time to time. So we're going to jump right in today with what is finished. And these objects have been finished over the last 2 or 3 weeks probably. First of all, maybe I'll talk about where you can find me online. Online, you can find me on Instagram as Jake's Knittin' Mama, all one word. Also, Jake's Knitting Mama on Ravelry. And of course, you found me on YouTube. Thank you. Let's not forget, if you wouldn't mind, subscribing to the channel if you like what you see. And I'm going to try and basically get a podcast out, if not every week, maybe every other week. So, finish objects over the last couple weeks, like I said. This first one is my son's Christmas socks, so Anthony's Christmas socks, knit out of Felici. I have two. He picked the colors himself, and of course he's got a very long foot, and he wants me to always use every single amount of the yarn that I can, so he likes them clear up almost to his knees, which I just don't understand why he's weird like that, but maybe his legs get cold. I'm not sure. But they are a simple 72 stitch sock pattern, and I knit them on Haya 2.25 needles, so a US size 1. I use a Haya sharp for most of my knitting, for my sock projects anyway. I just like how they slide, and you know, that just seems to be my favorite one that works best for me. And I always knit them magic loop. Very rarely will I do a pair of socks on DPNs. Once in a great while. So the colorway name for those socks was Blue Lagoon. And he's already been bothering me about wearing them. And I told him no, he has to wait for Christmas. I told him Santa has to bring them to him. So my second finished project, same type of yarn, just in a different colorway. Get them on the sock blockers here. Was for my boyfriend. And he picked out his too, so they've both seen these. And that is another Felici colorway called Stormy Skies. It was in one of the updates this year. They both were. Luckily for me, Robert doesn't like his socks quite as long as the child, who makes me knit with all the yarn until I run out. These were knit, I think I did 76 stitches on these. His feet are a little bit wider than Anthony's are. That's why they don't fit on the blockers quite as well. The same design, I use a fish lips heel on here, and Judy's Magic Cast On for the toe-up socks. On the ends, the bind-off, I use a stretchy sewn bind-off. I found that that is the one that works best for me. Let's see, what else do I have here? I have several Christmas projects here that I got done in the past few weeks. Just some knitted dish rags. They seem to be a favorite around the people that I'm around. They always ask for them every year. The yellow ones are for Robert's mom. She really likes those. Purple ones always go to my sister. And the green ones, my mom picked out a new color this year. And these are just the Lilly Sugar and Cream or the Peaches and Cream, whichever one I happen to have on hand. Let's see. Let's go to Works in Progress. So, works in progress. Looks like we'll start with this one here. This one's been a work in progress for quite a while. And I have one that is done. It's pair of socks for myself in a turtle pearl yarn called Rock, Paper, Scissors, Lizard, Spock, which is a Big Bang Theory reference. And I have one done. And I have one that's not quite done. I kind of put it away to be working on Christmas things, but here in the last week or so, since Christmas socks have been going rather quickly this year, I have gotten these back out to maybe finish them for myself. I just love these stripy bits. It totally emulates Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory. Just love it. And it's in one of my knitting bags that I made myself, Star Wars. I figured it was fitting to put the Big Bang Theory socks in a Star Wars knitting bag. So, most of the bags that my knitting projects are in, I think I only have one that I've bought. The rest are all ones that I've made for myself. I figured I knew how to make them, so I might as well just make them for myself. The next pair that is on the needles, and this is actually a Christmas present that's here, is for Robert's mother. She doesn't know she's getting these. Some socks out of some really old school fleecy. It is the Sport Weight. That is probably, I want to say, 10 to 12 years old. It is a deep stash that I've had in my stash since I first learned how to knit socks, actually. So the colors are striping up pretty good on that. I'm using a 2.75 millimeter needle on this one, but it is going rather quickly. So we'll see how that goes. It's 64 stitches toe up. Judy's Magic Cast On again. I have quite a lot of started projects that are being worked on for Christmas right now. This one here in my Don't Blink bag is Anthony's surprise Christmas socks. Since his other one's already done, I figured I might do a surprise pair for him. Last year I was in the Desert Vista Dye Works monthly sock club where you knit a pair a month in her yarn to win prizes and just to use up your yarn, and you know. Well, anyway, this was one that I had won. I won a couple of free ones last year for completing so many months and all that. And when I got this in mail, Anthony just went bonkers. His birthday is July 5th, so he loves anything to do with 4th of July. He loves the colors. He went insane when he saw this, and I said, no, those are for me. You can't have that. I want it myself. Well, I decided that these are going to be his surprise Christmas gift that he knows nothing about. It's kind of hard to get time to work on them when I'm at work. Well, he's in school, and then he's at home. Tonight I'm going to work on them a bit because he is at his job tonight from 5 to 9. So obviously he just left, so I could get these out to show them to you guys. And this is what I'll be working on tonight because he's not here to see them. So it is Desert Vista Dye Works in the colorway We Salute You. And there was a mini skein included for the toes and the heels. And the main part of the yarn is this lovely red and white. And then the mini skein was this blue and white, which is just adorable. So we'll see if those will knit up as quick as his other ones did. And they should. So I'm not real worried about getting those done on time. Just worried about him seeing them before he's supposed to. Another work in progress that I have here is for my dad. This is a bigger pair of socks. This is a boot sock made out of worsted weight yarn. Here's the first one. Let's see if I can get it all in the view here. And they're rather large because he likes his socks big. He likes them big. He likes them he has another pair of these that he has about worn out. He got them last year for Christmas, and he just loves them. So they're a worsted weight yarn, and they work up on a size 6 needle. I'm using a Lion brand wool ease on these. And Dad will probably wear them out. I'm going to try and get him 2 pair. This one's done. And this one here is to the heel flap. And on a size 6, they go pretty quickly. So this one's here is to the heel flap. He likes his socks to come out of his boots so his boots don't rub on his legs. My dad is handicapped. He had a hunting accident years ago. So I've had a difficult time trying to find him a pattern of socks that'll fit. So I finally came up with the heel. I don't do the heel turn. I just go straight into the gusset, because Dad does not have an ankle on one leg, and that leg swells up pretty good. And that regular heel turn does not fit his foot as well, as he doesn't like it. It shifts around on him. So when I was doing socks for him last year, I discovered that if I did not do the heel turn, that they fit him way better. So that is what I've been doing on his now. And he just loves them. He wears them out. He asks for them every year. He always says, well, I need 3 or 4 more pair of those. So I know he loves them, and with it being a wool ease yarn, he can also put them in the washing machine and the dryer. He's never had a problem with them. The only problem he has with them is that he doesn't have enough. That's what he tells me anyway. So, and now the another one that I have in progress are these mittens here. I'm making them for Robert for scooping snow. He says he'll go out and scoop my snow for me in the wintertime if I make him some mittens or gloves so he can keep his hands warm. So these are also out of the wool ease from Lion brand, and he wanted this lovely blue, which is kind of a pain some days to see, to cut into, to look at when it's not as bright in here as it should be. It's difficult to knit with this darker yarn. And he decided he wanted flip top mittens, so I got this to here, and then I'll go back and add, I'll go pick up stitches on the back of the hand, and then I'll add a button on the front to get the flip top that he wants. And I'm also thinking about thrumming these so that they're extra protected with just some fiber that I have in my stash behind me here. And he said he likes the gray, so I'm going to go with some kind of gray for him. That one is almost done. I'm waiting to put in the thumb until I get both of them done. And the second one is started. I just started that this afternoon. I haven't worked on it very much. But it's in Lion brand wool ease. It's a navy. And these are also a worsted weight yarn that I will also probably end up making him a little cowl and a hat to go with it, because once in a while he does walk to work in the wintertime, which is not very far away from where we live, but it still gets pretty darn cold in northwest Iowa. So we're gonna get him all duded up with his knits this year. The last thing I have on the needles today is going to be Robert's surprise pair of socks. His birthday is December 27th. So he has Christmas, and then bam, he has birthday. So he loves the Oakland Raiders. He loves the colors of the Oakland Raiders. So I have started him a pair of Raiders socks that he knows nothing about. These are not as hard to knit when he is at work when I am not. He is at work at night and I am at home at night. So I get some work done on this, but right now I'm trying to catch up on getting the half-finished objects done before I start this again. So the yarn is Lilliput yarn. I found them on Etsy. And I cannot remember the name of the colorway or anything. I don't have the tag. It's on my Instagram somewhere. but it caked up into this lovely gray and white cake. And I'll do his socks the length he likes, about 6 inches or so up his leg. And yes, he has already been bothering me about his finished socks too for Christmas. And I told them both that after today, after I recorded, I was going to wrap them and put them away so they couldn't bother me anymore because they didn't know where they were. And if they don't see them, maybe they won't talk about them. I do have some spinning today that I got done in the last couple of weeks. This here I finished up, let me see, about 2 weeks ago. And it's this lovely jewel tone colors, and they turned out pretty good. It's a BFL superwash, if I remember correctly, and it's from this little yarn shop in the town where my best friend lives. And I guess they went out of business, but it was one that they dyed on their own. It was in Nevada, Missouri, and I'm not even sure of the name of the shop anymore, but I know they no longer do anything. But she and I will find really neat things for each other. She is a crocheter and she knits a little bit, but she will find fiber and stuff like that for me and bring it to me and have me spin it for her to use. And this is one of those things. So that will probably be going with her when she comes up to visit. Her family is all from here, so she comes up to visit 2 or 3 times a year. And from where we live to where she lives, it's about 8 hours. So we talk on the phone and we FaceTime, and we FaceTime and knit on the phone all the time. But we don't get to see each other all that often, so we have piles of stuff for each other in our houses, and when she comes to visit, we trade. So usually the podcast might be a little bit longer. Today, not so much. But hopefully I can get back with you guys again next week. And happy knitting.